Hi, we're here with Pat McEwen. She's been involved with the pro-life movement for around 20 years now, working with Life Coalition International, and we're here to talk about the video clip you just saw. Pat, tell you what is sidewalk counseling?
It's called sidewalk because that's where we're standing, and it's called counseling because we're trying to offer women other options other than abortion.
So Pat, when you would be on the sidewalk calling out to these women, what type of things would you say to them to get their attention, and what would you try to get across to them?
First of all, the most important thing is to get their attention. This is the 11th hour, the last chance for them to change their mind. Mm-hmm. And so you really want them to simply come and talk to you. You talk woman to woman, come and talk to me. The first thing I want to find out from this woman who has come close to me so I can talk to her is, why do you feel you have to do this? Mm-hmm. Why do you feel that this dangerous thing to you, and of course very dangerous to your baby, is something that is your only choice? Tell me more about your situation, and then she'll talk to me.
Okay. And what's your goal once they do open up and start talking?
My goal is to show them, many women coming into an abortion clinic think the only way that they can get out of the situation that they're in is to have an abortion. Mm-hmm. They think that makes them not pregnant, never having had this whole situation. And that's absolutely wrong. I talk about the dangers to them. Mm-hmm. And I talk about, of course, the dangers to the baby. Because God has a plan for them and for that baby. And I try to give them enough information so that they can know they have other options. There are other things to do. I don't push them towards adoption or keeping the baby. I let them choose, but I try to give them a lot of information, and I try to let them tell me about themselves. Why are you here? What is the situation?
What other viewpoints do you bring to her attention about physical harms or things like that that would sway her from going through with an abortion?
Well, a woman who thinks that this is the best choice is wrong. This is the most dangerous choice. She has chosen the most dangerous thing. Mm-hmm. She's thinking this is a way to not be pregnant. She's opening herself up into a very, very dangerous procedure in an outpatient situation, and in a situation in an industry that's not well regulated. You wouldn't want to go to a dentist that's not well regulated by the state. But if you go into an abortion clinic, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to have surgery. You're going to have surgery without a second opinion. You're going to have surgery with a doctor on site, but probably not on site an hour after you've had the abortion. You're going to be in probably the most dangerous situation that you're going to be in your life. And you've chosen the most dangerous one. It's much safer to have that baby for you, for the woman.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, Pat, can you give some examples of that?
Well, I've stood outside the Aware Woman Clinic for years. During a period of a year and a half, I saw 5 times an emergency vehicle come to take a woman out of there. Mm-hmm. I have seen them come out flat. I have seen the paramedics leaning over them, doing everything they can. I've seen them sitting up with all sorts of tubes in them. This is the way they come out of the clinic. Within a year, 5 times. There isn't going to be a nurse on site. If you're having anesthesia, there may or may not be a nurse. She may not be on site after you've had the abortion. The doctor most certainly is not going to be on site. When you have your complications after this surgical procedure, there's going to be no one there but employees who really have no medical training.
Well, the pro-choice movement has a slogan that to keep abortion safe and legal. Is it really safe?
It's never safe. It is a medical surgical procedure. It is not performed in a hospital. Very often there is not a regular nurse there. There is no one to take care of you afterwards other than people with no medical training. And most generally, if you have a problem, you have to be transported to a hospital where the doctor may or may not even have privileges there. You may have to go in and wait till someone can take care of you. There are so many things that can happen during an abortion. I've spoken to a former abortionist, and I asked her, how about the perforated uterus? Is this just sloppy procedure? And she said, even doing the best job that I could, I perforated uteruses. It happens. This is common. Perforated uterus is dangerous. You can bleed to death. There's so many things that can happen, and yet this is performed in an outpatient situation. The other thing that can happen is the cannula, which perforates the uterus, could also go through and perforate the intestine, which means that without major surgery and a lot of luck, a beautiful young 17 or 18-year-old girl is going to have a colostomy bag on the side for the rest of her life. Another thing that can happen is a woman may never be able to have another child. One of the problems that happens when women are unable to have children is called an incompetent cervix. And that means when it has been dilated a number of times, and dilated when they're not naturally having the hormones to have the uterus dilate, when you're having an abortion, you get a cervix which cannot hold a child. And so when you're 3 months pregnant or 4 months pregnant, you miscarry. Mm. And this is a tragedy. Many women may not want this child, but they don't want to sign on for never having an child, ever.